In the quaint town of Eldridge Hollow, an unsettling mystery loomed like a dark cloud. Every year, children began to vanish without a trace, leaving their families in despair and the community on edge. Some whispered that the missing were taken by the woods that surrounded the town. Others believed it was the work of the old doll maker, Mr. Grayson, who lived at the edge of town. Mr. Grayson was a recluse, known for crafting beautiful dolls that were eerily lifelike. Locals often saw him hunched over in his dimly lit workshop, surrounded by sawdust and delicate fabrics. But it was the dolls themselves that caused unease. They resembled the children who had gone missing. Every detail, from the color of their hair to the patterns on their clothing, was perfect. The townsfolk whispered that he somehow trapped the spirits of these children in the dolls. One afternoon, a curious girl named Lily ventured to Mr. Grayson's shop, drawn by the allure of the handcrafted dolls displayed in the window. The bell above the door chimed softly as she entered, and the air was thick with the smell of wood and paint. Rows of dolls lined the shelves, their glassy eyes watching her every move. "Hello, young lady," Mr. Grayson said, his voice gravelly but warm. "What brings you here?" Lily hesitated, glancing at a doll that bore an uncanny resemblance to her best friend Mia, who had gone missing last summer. The doll wore a floral dress and had pigtails made of real hair, just like Mia used to. I just wanted to look," Lily stammered. "Every doll tells a story," he said, his gaze drifting to the window. "Sometimes they even hold pieces of the children they resemble." Lily felt a chill run down her spine, but couldn't tear her eyes away from the doll. "Why do you make them?" Mr. Grayson sighed, looking weary. "To remember them. Sometimes when a child goes missing, it's like they've left behind a part of themselves. I try to preserve that." Lily nodded, feeling the weight of his words. But as she turned to leave, she caught a glimpse of another doll, one that was hidden in the back corner of the shop. This one had dark hair and wore a tattered blue dress. Something about it felt wrong, almost alive. "Wait," she said, pointing. "What about that one?" Mr. Grayson's face darkened. "That doll is not for sale. It's different." Curiosity overpowered her caution, and Lily approached the doll. The moment she touched it, a jolt of electricity shot through her. The doll's eyes seemed to flicker, and for a brief moment, Lily could hear a soft, pleading voice whispering in her mind. "Help us." Lily stumbled back, her heart racing. "What did you do to her?" "Nothing," Mr. Grayson said quickly. "But some dolls carry more than just the memories. They can sometimes hold on to their pain. It's best to leave them be." That night, Lily lay in bed, unable to shake the feeling of dread. She tossed and turned, the whispering voice echoing in her mind. Determined to uncover the truth, she decided to return to the shop the next day. As dawn broke, she found Mr. Grayson busy at work. He looked up, surprise flickering across his face. "Back so soon?" "I want to know what happened to the missing children," she said, her voice steady, "and what you did to that doll." Mr. Grayson hesitated, then sighed deeply. "They were lost in the woods. I tried to find them, but I only discovered their lingering essence. The dolls. They're not just toys. They are vessels for the memories and souls of those children." "Can we bring them back?" Lily asked, desperation creeping into her voice. "No, child," he said sadly. "Once lost, they cannot return. But the dolls can hold on to their essence, reminding us of who they were." Lily felt tears welling up in her eyes. "That's not enough. Sometimes the world takes children away from us, and all we can do is remember," he said softly. "But you should never touch the ones that still hold their pain." Ignoring his warning, Lily turned back to the hidden doll. With trembling hands, she picked it up, feeling the weight of sorrow in her heart. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I will help you." Suddenly, the room filled with a cold wind, and the other dolls began to rattle on their shelves. The doll in Lily's hand shuddered, and in a flash, a torrent of memories flooded her mind. Echoes of laughter, fleeting moments of joy, and the horror of being lost in the woods. When she opened her eyes, the doll had transformed. It no longer looked lifeless. Instead, it looked like Mia, full of life and color. "Thank you," the doll whispered, her eyes sparkling with hope. Before Lily could react, the doll leapt from her hands, rushing toward the door. But as she watched in horror, it paused, glancing back at Mr. Grayson. The doll smiled, and in an instant, the door swung open, the cold air rushing in, enveloping the doll before it vanished into the wind. Lily gasped, realizing what she had unleashed. The other dolls began to stir, whispering in unison, their glassy eyes filled with longing. "You've released her," Mr. Grayson whispered, fear etched across his face. "But in doing so, you've opened a door that can never be closed." The room grew darker, shadows stretching from the corners, and the air became thick with sorrow. The whispers escalated into frantic cries, and the dolls began to writhe on the shelves, desperate to be freed. Lily backed away, realizing too late the price of her curiosity. The townsfolk would never forget the missing children, but now the dolls would haunt her dreams, reminders of those who had been lost and those who would never be found. As she fled from the shop, the chilling wind howled through the streets of Eldridge Hollow, and the echoes of the dolls' whispers followed her into the night.